What is supremacy? Where does supremacy come from? How does it affect our lives? Yours specifically. How do we overcome supremacy? These are the vital questions one must arrive at and confront in order to even begin realistically addressing the problems that we have allowed to fester in the world. Like authority, the only way to extinguish the flames of supremacy is to bathe it in the light of truth. Supremacy has many faces and functions, from racism to domestic violence, and from pollution to politics. Supremacy persists. The basic definition of supremacy is, quote, the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, and status. Google, end quotes. This definition is acceptable and is sufficient as a function of this exercise to further enrich our understanding of supremacy. What is supremacy? With a creator, the creator is supreme. With or without a creator, nature is supreme. The laws of nature are supreme, and no known application of man can alter, change, or nullify any of these laws. Supremacy, then, is when sentient beings attempt to act as the supreme authority over an environment or another sentient being or beings, and in doing so attempts to subvert nature's inherent authority. Since all sentient beings are equal under the natural law, there is no method for one or more sentient beings to have valid, legitimate, and binding authority over one or more sentient beings. Supremacy is natural only in the sense that it is the polar opposite of nature. It exists within the scope, scale, and jurisdiction of what we call nature in reality. However, because supremacy is nature's polar opposite, the effects supremacy produces are destructive rather than generative. Supremacy, then, is the act of applying arbitrary systems of control over natural systems without proper respect or regard for the natural laws that govern those systems. Control, domination, exploitation, and violence directly or vicariously, but certainly deliberately, over sentient beings by removing a sentient being's natural right to consent to the actions that will affect him, is supremacy. Supremacy on the planet Earth manifests in various forms but materializes through a socioeconomic fabric of concrete class. The hierarchy of supremacy is as follows in order. Human supremacy, the false notion that humankind has full and unchallenged authority to do whatever it deems fit without corresponding consequences. Male supremacy, or gender supremacy, the realities of a patriarchal society, sexism, dominance as a virtue, etc. Caucasian post-colonial European supremacy, aka quote-unquote white supremacy. Capitalism, the industrial complexes, quote-unquote representative government, and of course racism. Individual supremacy, assault, theft, coercion, trespassing, sexual assault, murder, bullying. In other words, the theft of another's personal property, their bodily autonomy.